So in the book of Numbers, there's this story where the children of Israel run out of water. And speaking of water, I'm going to take this opportunity to take some hydrating electrolytes after having played pickleball. So the children of Israel were not happy. They were out of water. They were grumpy. Why'd you bring us out here to this nasty place? There's no special fruit out here. We'd be better off in Egypt. So Moses and Aaron go down, face down before God. God's glory shows up and he says, go and take your staff, or take the staff, whichever one, and essentially go to a rock, I guess, and tell the rock to give water. Speak to the rock. So Moses goes, but Moses apparently still has an attitude at this point. And he's like, do I have to get water? Do we have to get water out for you, you rebels? And he hits the rock twice with his staff, and water does come out. But God says something quite interesting. Now, depending on the translation, it comes out a little different. So I'll read from, I guess it's the Jewish Bible. And God said to Moses and to Aaron, this is what he said, because you did not believe in me to sanctify me in the eyes of the children of Israel, therefore you will not bring this congregation to the land that I have given them. In other translations, it says, because you did not trust me to honor me as holy or show me as holy, something like that. But words like trust and holy are used, or in this case, it's believe and sanctify. So it's quite an interesting passage. And God was, I believe, talking to me about something in my life where I had kind of gotten frustrated. It was an issue that had come up various times, and I was frustrated, I think. And then after, God really provided for that issue, resolved that issue, whatever. And then I was really like, okay, kind of almost like chuckling, laughing. Okay, God, I get it. You're taking care of us and all this. And he's like, no, you don't get it. Was what I seem to get, and then gave me this passage of scripture, this story. And so there is, you think about what Moses went through up to this point. The children of Israel had already complained various times, and God had dealt with them, either punishment or provision or both. And so Moses had kind of been through the gauntlet, if you will, at this point. And despite all the miraculous ways that God provided for them in the past, here again the children of Israel are really griping. And I don't know, was Moses afraid for his life at that point or not? Maybe he wanted to die. I don't know for sure what stage he was at there. But, I think it was probably a tremendously taxing position. Especially, prior to, this was probably after the 70 elders were appointed or whatever, or received some of the glory. But anyway, I think we could look at Moses' response and we'd say, that's understandable. I mean, this is a heavy responsibility that you have with these, or a big responsibility with the children of Israel. You've been through this time and again with them complaining, and, maybe you have a right to be frustrated. And besides all this, I suppose he's probably getting to be a fairly old man, and aren't old men supposed to be grumpy? So, but there was something about the frustration apparently showed a lack of trust, a lack of belief on Moses' part. And it was apparently not honoring or we could even say in some ways dishonoring, but maybe it was more not honoring is maybe the better way to put it. Is maybe more like literal to Scripture. To God because of his lack of belief that came out apparently in frustration. So it's pretty sobering to think that, if there's an area in my life that is causing me repeated frustration, or if there's an area of life that's a challenge from time to time, and if I become frustrated, it may be that it's actually displaying a lack of trust, lack of confidence I'm having. And when I have that frustration from that lack of trust, a lack of belief, that is not declaring or showing God to be holy. That's sounds like, I think that's pretty serious stuff. So I hope that going forward that I will live a life of trust and faith that does showcase or agree with God's holiness, and that does not dishonor him.